All right, so here we go. So yeah, I guess Daniel and I have put together this presentation called Generate Business Through Value Add to Your Customers. And this is a presentation mainly by Securelux, but I thought I'd jump in here as well. And a lot of you may not know, but I actually run a few other businesses aside from my digital marketing agency as well. And some of the things, really have helped me sort of push my clients towards partnering with other businesses in order to generate business. Not only it's probably the more cost-efficient way to advertise, but it also gets better customers as well. So a little bit about myself. I run a bunch of companies. YEWS Solutions is my main one as an agency. I also run Homestyle Cleaning with my wife. It's a domestic cleaning company based at Winner Manly area. So we service all that pocket. We are the biggest one in the region there. Photoelectric smoke alarms. We do supply and install as well in the online store. And I also have a niche business of called Homestyle Fish Ponds, where we service and manage fish ponds, people with fish ponds. And every time I tell people about these businesses, the only one they really remember in the end is the fish ponds, because probably it's a pretty cool one. But it is an interesting one. You do get to meet awesome people. We do have people like Casey Stoner, Lorna Jane, Don Mage, who runs Domino's Pizza, as our clients as a result of that. Who would have thought? Like they all have fish ponds, and that's how you get through to somebody of that caliber. Anyway, I run 4 businesses in total. 4 successful businesses. I do have other ones as well. I also have flops. I'm not a super being, unfortunately. My combined revenue is about 3.5 mil, and I've got 11 local staff, and I have a lot of stuff overseas. I'm a big advocate of using VAs for businesses just to sort of streamline processes. And I guess over the last 3 years, the COVID period, VAs have really helped me and my clients to really take things off the ground in the sense that no one can find staff, or you basically would struggle to find the right people. But picking up the phone and filtering calls and setting appointments is probably the easiest thing that could have been done. And that's exactly what we've done for all of my businesses. So if you call any of these brands, you'll be speaking to one of my VAs who basically filters things out and then puts you through to the right person as well. I'm also an author. I've written a book in 2009 with a bunch of good marketers, and I am working on one right now called Better Business That Works. And I'm pretty passionate about creating positive change. I do enjoy helping businesses get to another level or potentially get better customers. I'm also a father of 3 kids, and this is my beautiful wife, Christina. Besides that, I like things like, soccer, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I try to train a couple of times a week. And I love doing podcast listening, and I've actually started mine at the start of the year as well. Daniel, mate, over to you. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Hey guys. So I'm CEO of Securelux, which is a family business. So started with Securelux back when I finished school and I was going for uni. So in that time, we've grown from doing $1 million revenue per year right up to 7 at the moment. Team growth is we've also grown 5 to, I think we're up to 34 now. We've had a few hires at the start of the year, so I'm not too sure what you guys are finding out in the market, but finding there's a few extra good quality applicants coming available to us. So we're, I guess, grabbing them at the moment and then looking for the opportunity to make sure that we can expand on that after. From my time in Securelux, I've become quite obsessed, I guess, with trying to capture data to make decisions. So I've seen the business from, its sole trading days right up to being a small or medium-sized firm. I guess we're building our own software to help capture that data. And a lot of that's around the idea of, as business owners, we want to make decisions based on, I guess, facts rather than feeling or emotions. So we're basically building something that we feel can branch that gap in a number of ways. So even motivating staff has been quite difficult post-COVID. I'm sure you guys have had battles with that over the last 12 months. So one way we're trying to do that is, I guess, make it more transparent as to how people are going and how they're performing based on certain tasks. So our tasks, as you can see in that bottom image, that's our factory's performances, and that dotted line is basically their KPI for the day based on it being an 8-hour day or a 6-hour day, just depending on the makeup of your time. And so everything from making a screen door to cutting it and everything generates points for that. So we're looking to push that out into the market mid-year. So I'll keep you updated with that. In terms of my personal life, that's my little family up the top. So it's my wife Erin, my little son Mason, and expecting one later this year. And massive AFL fan, play a lot of golf, and love my country music. So yeah, in I guess today's agenda and why you guys have all jumped on is just looking at, I guess, marketing a bit differently. So we've been, as Securelux, we've been heavily, I guess, reliant on our digital campaigns, but and we've got quite good at it, and it's been quite beneficial to us for a number of years, and it will keep being beneficial. But what we're starting to see is there's a lot more opportunities if we look at them that we probably miss on a day-to-day basis because we're not, I guess we're too busy or we're too reliant on other things. So what we wanted to do is, I guess, bring some of that to your guys' attention today and talk to you about potentially lead models that could be collaborative. So, maybe I can generate a lead for you and vice versa. And also partnering opportunities. So it's not just about leads. It could be, wholesale opportunities or, utilizing resources and stuff like that in the future. So we'll touch on a few of these today. And then we'll have a FAQ session at the end.
Cool. So why strategical partnerships, Daniel? I mean, you've obviously got your take on this. I'm happy to put my 2 cents. So for Securelux, how do you sort of look at the leveraging of the existing relationships?
Yeah, so the way that our business is set up, we have sales consultants that go out to customers every day, and we go to about somewhere between 100 and 150 appointments per week. And I guess that over the last sort of 2 years, we're finding that a lot of the times our consultants say, oh, look, they're looking to get things like CCTV and maybe compare, deciding between security screens and CCTV, or, maybe they're looking at getting both. And that sort of feedback's been coming to me. And I guess we're going, well, maybe we should partner with the professionals in those space and actually assist those customers to get what they want without the extra, I guess, putting the chore back on the consultant to sort of treat them separately. So, and the more and more you look at it, we go, well, right now we rely quite heavily on Google to generate leads for security screens, but customers normally are busy and have a lot of things on the go. If we can sort of facilitate that customer service component as well and push them in the right direction to other businesses that are, have similar traits to Securelux, so, do focus on quality, do focus on the customer, then, we should be able to push leads without them having to go and cost other businesses money on Google to generate them. So that's sort of why it started.
Yeah. And I guess for me, as a simple concept, I found that the concept of finding people who've got your customer before you really worked quite well. And it took me a while to sort of process it. But, over COVID, I have started working a lot closer with a few trades businesses. And for some reason, actually, for my digital marketing agency, I do attract a lot of roofers. So I do work with a lot of roofers on many different levels. And one of the guys was basically doing all the Google ads and all the other stuff as well. And then things got a little bit busy. And then he found that a lot of jobs coming from Google were a lot smaller than some of the works that he really wanted to do. So we basically did, a couple of really simple email blasts and managed to get a couple of partners on board. And the sort of jobs that these guys were passing to him were 5 times bigger than the work that he was receiving himself. And since then, that really allowed him to sort of diversify. And what he also managed to do is basically give the smaller jobs to members of his team that were working as contractors and wanted to do a few extra things as well. So it's really just transformed that sort of space altogether as well. But I think the idea of recycling leads is definitely a good one because, you would do, hundreds, if not thousands of jobs throughout the year, Daniel. And then from there, these customers are still real people. They are homeowners. They are people with, cash to be able to afford something like CrimSafe. And by the way, for those of you listening, Securelux is the #1 CrimSafe installer in Southeast Queensland at the moment. And there's basically a lot of contacts that are being handled, and I think it's just about really playing smart in that field as opposed to just doing a once-off transaction.
Yeah, and we've built trust with those customers as well. So once you've got trust, it's a lot easier to sell to customers if you're doing, if you're doing the right thing by them. So there's opportunities to leverage that by, not taking advantage of the customer, but pointing them in the right direction. And that's where things like upsells and stuff as well can come in. So like Nathan's a builder, right? So I'm sure he's been asked about what screens they offer in the past. And some builders go direct, don't get involved in it, and others sort of, do have contacts or put on their own screens. But if the customer's adamant on CrimSafe, say, why not sort of see that as an opportunity to potentially make a little money and make the customer happy at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, this is a really good point as well. I think one of the biggest problems for the builders right now is the fact that obviously prices are jumping up and down as well. And this is where I guess partnering with some local providers really allows you to secure prices or really put some process in place where you can be a little bit more certain about how the process will be carried out as well. So really, I think that really one big thing that needs to be considered in terms of partnerships is, how will this support my business and how will this add value to the customer? And then, okay, if you have certain problems or certain fluctuations in your industry, how can this potentially help you fill the gaps or take some pressure off you as well? So I think that's a good point right there. All right. Yeah, guys, and if you got any questions along the way, please, feel free to sort of jump in the chat and put things through here. So
yeah,
Daniel,
so continuing on, so why strategic partnerships? So Builders is actually our example. Funnily enough, they essentially become a project manager for a customer building their home, and they get involved in a lot of trades. And in terms of security or other trades that you guys might be involved in, you can quite easily go through and have a look and see that there's complementary trades that come in before and after your transaction with the customer that you could quite easily facilitate or be involved in. So with Builders, obviously you've got the carpentry aspect, the electrical, roofing, paint on tile, the list goes on. And obviously Builders have different arrangements with their subbies, and quite often those relationships are built on trust or doing things right, and then they can expand, right, which then allows the builder to expand once they've sort of got reliable resources. So if we, I guess, take a leaf out of their book, that's a great it is a great model to be able to rely on other businesses and not just individual contractors and stuff as well. So real estate is another one. They quite often can push once they've made a sale of a house. They quite often are the first point of contact for customers saying, "Oh, we're new to the area. Do you know a pool builder or a security screen provider?" And if if they can say yes and pass on, then that opportunity is all of a sudden like a high quality lead rather than just a lead generated from Google because they've been passed on by someone that's trustworthy to them.
Yeah, well, I think it's really more about this whole customer journey, and obviously in marketing that's the term that we use, but it's almost like where does this journey start? Who's the first person to start the conversation? And oftentimes what happens is people make the assumption that one person receives the lead and they try to approach them, but then people are like, okay, approach a builder about doing a new build, but then a new build would need to get an architect or a building designer involved in order to get the actual plans and basically finalize the actual designs and so on and so on. So there is a bit of a flow to the whole thing, and if you partner with the right people, that actually takes the pressure off. In fact, we work with a building designer at the moment who would be a perfect intro for Nathan, so I'll do that one for you as well, Nate. But they love partnering up with builders because for them, it's just really streamlines quite well. The customer contacts the builder. Hey, we need to do the designs and stuff. Our budget is X, Y, Z. Okay, talk to the building designer, get a lot of clarity. Or you may have some designs or so, but you need someone to sort of back you up on them. Either way, it's about flow in your business and the specifics of it.
Yeah, so about Securelux then, so as Alexei mentioned, our main product is the CrimSafe range, and we're the number one residentially to pretty much in Australia at the moment. So we are dealing with a lot of customers on a daily basis, and you can go and look on our Google or our Facebook, and you can see the reviews and the level of detail those reviews for, I guess, how far we go above and beyond for our customers. We do offer shutters as well, and also security film with the 3M range. We're 42 years industry experience, third generation run business. Like I said, we built it quite differently to some of the businesses in our space, where Craig, the owner, he's built it from being an installer into a business as opposed to sort of a salesperson into a business. So he's always got the installation side of things at mind, which is quite good for strategic partnerships as well, because you want to have someone that, you know, is going to make sure that the level of detail required at the install is going to be met for the customer, because that leaves a positive taste on the referral in the first place. We do the whole thing. So, some of you may or may not know, but CrimSafe is a product. CrimSafe don't actually provide their products to customers or other businesses. So we're basically a licensee for that, but we do the whole process from sale right through to install and after service. So there's actually not too many businesses that focus solely on security screens like we do and do that whole process. Our service areas, Caboolture right down to Currumbin out to Ipswich. Love to expand on that as well at some stage. And our database is well and truly over that 32,000 mark now. So
that's crazy. You're sitting on the gold mine, mate. I think one email blast to any of the guys that are on the webinar right now about their business will definitely get their phone ringing, mate. That's excellent.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? With the after service side of things, like how many times do we complete, all of us in our business complete a service for a customer, and then there's nowhere to sort of go, or you wait for them to move house or refer a friend. Like if with these strategic partnerships in place, you've got more I guess avenues to touch base with customers after the fact. So who's not to say that 6 months after a build, you're not sort of doing a plug for security screens and then picking up commission 6 months after and things like that.
And I guess the beauty is this service area that you are covering really allows you to partner with a number of different providers as well, in terms of CCTV and everything else as well. And obviously the businesses that you work with right now all offer different levels of service and different products as well. So I think there's quite a spectrum of opportunities that comes into play as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Everyone knows the cost of fuel's gone up and up and up. So everyone would like to work more closely to home, right? So if you don't have to service as big a region as we do, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, excellent.
So yeah, just did a quick visual on, I guess, the traditional lead model to the customer. So typically at the moment, if a customer inquires about say CCTV or locksmith or security screens, they're typically having to do 3 or 4 different Google searches to then get 3 or 4 different quotes and do that process over and over, which can be quite time consuming. And most these days, people in relationships and stuff, typically both partners are working, and they're talking about this stuff after hours, and something happens the next day, and all of a sudden it's let's put it off for 3 months. And as these respective businesses, you're not hearing, I guess, about the results of those outcomes unless they go ahead on the spot or you do the follow-ups yourself. So if we can make it, I guess, that customers feel like they're gaining time back, and they're sort of dealing with a trustworthy network of businesses, that could be a positive for all involved. So yeah, if you go to the next slide, Alexei. So collaborative one is, I guess, where, and I've used Securelux as an example here, but there's no reason why businesses can't get together and do landing pages or campaigns that sort of bundle their products together, or, get the customers sort of thinking differently. So, as an example, I'm talking to a guy this afternoon that, we offer a lot of doors that have pet ways in them. So we might be able to bundle that with like a bed for pets or whatever, and just sort of target pet owners in a different way to the security message and see how that goes. So there's a lot of different ways to sort of think about your marketing. And I think being able to, I guess, represent to customers on different web pages. And I've got an example of something we're working on our website on the next page here. So, if we can make customers see that if you go to our website, and this is an example for security screens, but for security, home security, but there's other examples where our product doesn't have to be just for home security. But if we can display on our website that we're a one-stop shop and push people to these respective businesses through this platform, that can become a cheaper lead resource for not only us but those that we partner with, which is I'm sure at times everyone sort of looks at their marketing and goes, it's a bit high compared to what I used to pay, or that we're not getting as much as we can out of them. And that's where you start looking at, these opportunities, or trying to get stronger in your sales conversion, which, some of these, I guess, concepts could potentially help with as well. Like if you could, bundle two things together, is that better than having them try and get two different businesses, out to do those, separate transactions? And they might, change their mind after one. So
what I also like about this, Daniel, is that this allows you to start more conversation with the customer. If people come through to your website, they're looking for one thing. It's like, oh, okay, well, you guys can help me with this as well. So there's more reasons to start a conversation. From the point of conversion rate, this actually works a lot better, because if a person comes to the website, they've got one problem, but they may be thinking, hey, I was thinking about this as well. Who can I talk to about things like that? And there are also some products that don't really I guess, trigger as much interest as other products. Like for example, 3M film. I think that's a great and a very easy product for a lot of customers, but a lot of customers just aren't educated about it. Like they can really protect their glass by having a thin film that basically makes it nearly non-breakable. I think it's a good educational point, and also diversifies the conversations.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what you want, right? You want the customer to feel like they can get as much information as possible as quickly as possible, rather than having to sort of surf the web. We've all gone looking for products in the past and sort of ended up probably leaving it because there's not enough detail out there to actually, I guess, move forward and try and get a quote or have a conversation.
Yeah. And from the customer perspective, look, I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of builders were trying to push the sustainable homes, and it's obviously quite a thing right now, but I'm finding more and more customers are looking for security, home security as a package as well. So Nathan, you may be able to back me up on this, and we'll obviously have a bit of a chat in the end, but I am finding this to be a bit of a trend. Anyway.
Definitely. I think probably pre-COVID, people were deciding between security screens and CCTV. Now they're getting both. When that can happen in a period that's, supposedly a downturn or a recession, is because homes, like security, becomes more of a concern because there is more crime typically. So people are starting to get, or there's been some pretty significant cases this year already in Queensland that makes it, I guess, front of mind, and that may continue happening. So I think the easier the solution is for the customer, the easier it is for them to make that commitment.
Absolutely.
So in terms of partnering opportunities, we've sort of put it down to 3. There's partner alignment. So I guess just pushing the fact that we work with a different this business in this space, and this is how we can help. Lead activities, which is putting the name forward at quotes or as part of your presentations to customers. And then there's also expanded partnership opportunities, which might be selling someone else's product on their behalf if that's viable, or, you know, after service, you know, pushes as well. So, you know, the whole idea is really to reduce the lead costs. So rather than pay Mr. Google, you know, you're rewarding other businesses by working together to give your customers better solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think overall, partnering with bigger brands that are more recognized in the circles of your ideal customer, you know, profiles, it really works quite well. I mean, if you come on the back of something that's well known, you know, the trust is instantly there. Securelux has obviously been around for 42 years, and you guys have been going pretty heavy with your marketing on the radio and also on taxis in the last few years. So people know the brand; they do recognize it. So yeah. So let's talk about a smarter way to market, Daniel.
Yeah, so you know, again, sort of just heading into a new phase where, you know, probably during COVID, a lot of people are spending time at home. So, and they couldn't spend money on holidays and stuff. So that's opening up again now. And obviously, you know, some people are going to get impacted quite heavily with the interest rate rises and everything like that. So just thinking, I guess, about your marketing differently to perhaps you had to over the last couple of years. So sort of, you know, as an example, in the past, we may have seen CCTV as a competitor to our customers because they were typically picking security screens or CCTV. Now, you know, why can't it be screens plus CCTV as a package? You know, prerequisite requirements before proceeding with your product. So, you know, the door requires a repair to proceed. So sometimes we go to customers that they've had a break-in and their door jams all busted up. So, you know, who can service that? Is that someone that in our sort of network that we can pass that opportunity on to? You know, rather than make the customer see that as a chore to then getting the security that they need to avoid another break-in. And then after service offerings as well. So, you know, things like our customers quite often ask about like getting, you know, their glass doors and their timber doors keyed alike to the security screens and stuff like that, which is not a service that we use, but again, is something that we could easily push along to like a locksmith. So it's just, yeah, remain engaged and enhance the customer service offering by having referral partners at your fingertips. So rather than sending the customer away with a chore, you know, actually stepping in and giving them an answer or pointing them in a direction and, you know, hopefully creating a win-win-win. So win for both businesses and a win for the customer.
And just to give you an idea, before COVID, I guess the cost per lead was fairly reasonable. Then it sort of dropped to about 50% or so because a lot of people stopped advertising. Now with more and more people advertising, the costs are probably 30% to 100% more than what they used to be. So it is more and more expensive to advertise through social media or Google and doing all those things. And yeah, there's just more providers trying to advertise, which is really what pushes up the price overall. It's how Google works.
Yeah, so why work with Securelux? I mentioned earlier, quality customer experience. So Google and Facebook reviews would back that up. Increase opportunities for profitable engagements with customers, and maximize your rewards from effort. And you know, I'm quite heavily involved in the process at the moment when it comes to working with other businesses, just to make sure that, you know, we're doing our part in that relationship and building it so that, you know, it can turn into a nice referral stream for businesses. Or, you know, there's, like I said, there's opportunities where we've got a sales team and some businesses don't need a sales team, but our sales team can put products and services forward as part of their conversation with customers, which can turn into, you know, hopefully an extra sales stream for those businesses as well. And yeah, as we sort of mentioned, security screen demand is up at the moment, so up by 20%. So, you know, there's every time there's a break-in, typically, in an area, typically customers do start to get a bit proactive to make sure, I guess, that they're looking at it. And yeah, I think unfortunately due to what's going on with the economy and stuff, there's probably going to be quite a few break-ins heading into the back end of this year as well.
Cool. So how will this partnership work, mate? Tell us about the different options.
Yeah, so the first option would be like co-branding. So on some of our marketing to customers, are showing the brands sort of align together so they can, either ask us the question or, go direct and ask the question as well, like about, can you help me with this service or this product? We do have the option as well to create like a partnership page, which will be relevant for some businesses, and other businesses, it's probably more just, knowing that you can push them to a different, to our business if security screens comes up. But we do have the option, if you wanted to ever do some after service marketing, to have a dedicated landing page that would allow for those inquiries to be traced back to their original source, which would be a conversation that you or one of your staff members may have had with the customer, which then means that, we can then track results and pay a commission payment to the business or the salesperson, whatever the sort of arrangement is. So
okay.
So yeah, like, having tools is quite important. So we got one here for Bell Property, which is just, basically a one pager about Securelux and the security screen options and everything like that we offer. And then that QR code would then link back to an inquiry form that would, like I said, have tracking for where it came from. So we know if a lead comes from Bell Property, it's typically come from this or their landing page.
Cool. And option number 2?
Yeah, so the partnership side of things. So, like I said, we've got a new website that we're just in the final stages of doing for ourselves. So having businesses that can go into those segments of home security. And like I said, there'll probably be a few other options as well that aren't necessarily home security based, like, say bushfire protection and stuff like that can be relevant, just airflow, comfort. There's a lot of different ways, but if we find businesses that sort of see this as an opportunity for them, we just have a conversation about basically having some content on the website and using it as a lead form to then turn into a conversation about those services as well.
Sounds good. So what's the next step, mate? I mean, how do you want to sort of proceed from here?
Yeah, so I mean, if anyone's sort of interested to keep the conversation going with myself, we have a QR link at the end of this webinar that you guys can take photo of and send me a message. So we can then have a follow-up call and find out a bit more about your business and potentially how a strategic alliance could work the other way as well. So we're big on we obviously want opportunities for ourselves, but we're big on making sure that we find opportunities for those that we work with as well. So I think having a more in-depth conversation about that would, open up some opportunities. And I think, most conversations that I have with businesses, typically there's probably 4 or 5 opportunities. So it's just working on, which one, I guess, is going to have quick results, and then expanding from there once you sort of, got some sort of established relationship together.
Sounds good. All right, well, let's jump into some of the FAQs and let's go through this and then I guess open up the mics for any questions. So why form strategic partnerships rather than work on own brand? What's your take on this?
I think strategic partnerships can help to, I guess, build your own brand. So yeah, like we said, it's for us, say, for example, with Securelux, you're having more touch points with the customer if they come back to you and say, oh, you mentioned that you work with this locksmith. Do you remember their name, kind of thing? Like you're constantly engaging with the customer and putting Securelux forward as a in front of them. So I think they're complementary to each other. Is that your take on it, Alexei?
Well, I think working on a brand is a really expensive exercise. And look, while it's obviously a good thing to do, but for a lot of small businesses, the whole branding exercise just doesn't have the returns that you put into it. I mean, unless you've got a huge appetite for a big business and you really want to penetrate a big market, then yeah, absolutely. But then you need to obviously have the business to suit that as well. So in my opinion, partnerships is a much easier and faster way to get customers and grow your business as opposed to work on own brand on its own. And at the same time, if someone does have a big brand, partnering with them obviously helps you, elevate your brand quite quickly as well. I guess the next question, and some of these questions are basically is what we get asked a lot. Some people have emailed certain questions. Have you seen this work in other industries? Well, yeah, obviously we see this work quite a lot in the building industry. I obviously have this work quite well in my businesses as well. It's particularly in digital marketing. We don't do everything, but we partner with a lot of businesses that do things really well, like branding, for example, on social media, which is something we don't do. Have you got anything to add to this question, Daniel? Have you seen this work in other industries?
Yeah, and it's probably everyone probably does it to some extent. It's just how much you focus on it as well. So like we said, real estate's as part of their transaction typically will get asked questions because they've already built trust and rapport with the customer.
Yep.
Our guys do get asked all the time, and it's just making sure that you've got a process in place to then be able to pass those leads on, because otherwise, you can't offer the customer that opportunity. So I think and you see it even on Facebook. Sometimes people in communities will say, has anyone used or recommend a business in this space? And then people will put forward businesses. This is no different, right? This is just a structured way for B2B to sort of work in that manner.
Right. Yeah. Next question is really more for you. What's the eligibility criteria to qualify for this? So who are you looking for specifically criteria-wise that you'd like to sort of partner with?
So I think the main thing is that the businesses that we partner with offer a quality service to our customers, and that we offer a quality service to their customers as well. So we built our business on quality and having attention to detail and everything to make sure that we're doing the right thing by the customer. So when partnering, we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by the customer by putting someone's name forward. Sounds
good. How do you work with multiple businesses in the same category? Well, I think we sort of addressed that as well. Every business is different, and I think it's probably a good problem to have altogether. But are you sort of looking for any exclusivity to work with, let's say, certain locksmiths, CCTV, or maybe builders in certain areas, or not really? Or like, what's your answer to this?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it really comes down to having that conversation to find out what the partnership could look like. We definitely, there'd be some arrangements where you just wouldn't push to get other businesses because you want to, it makes sense to pass everything back and forward because that business has a similar service area or can sort of handle all customer requests in that space. So it really comes down to just how that conversation goes. There's other businesses obviously that have really tiny geographical service areas. They don't need to expand on that, so they're not going to have an issue if there was 2 or 3 businesses in that space.
Yeah. Are you planning to expand to your business outside a business area, Brisbane area? So you mentioned that you're doing Gold Coast, Northern Gold Coast as well. Yeah, so we've got designated salespeople in Ipswich, North Lakes, Gold Coast. We've done some work on the Sunshine Coast, and it's all about, for us, putting the right structures in place to then put more consultants and installers on to then expand further. But that would 100% be our plan. Cool. And last question that I've got in FAQs is, what sort of support will you be offering with this? So, let's say someone in the CCTV game has a business and wants to sort of come on board. How can you support their business? Yeah, so I think, like we sort of said, having a conversation about what it is that both businesses want to get is the starting point, but then it's following up. So, I'll do the follow-ups myself and sort of make sure that, if we've
sort of got a strategy moving forward that both businesses want to do certain things to put the other businesses forward. I'll sort of project manage that, I guess, and make sure that, we're not missing out on those opportunities. Everyone gets busy with everyday stuff. So, sometimes these things take a back sort of stage to the everyday focuses. But in saying that, just like selling to customers, a follow-up phone call here and there to make sure that, things are going well. When the time's right, these things will explode when they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And I guess, yeah, if you guys are interested to work with Daniel or make a time at least to have a chat further, this is the QR code. You can scan that. And what I'll also do is I'll send out a follow-up email, but basically this QR code will take you to a form where you can make a time and have a chat with Daniel. I mean, some of you are probably listening while you're driving. So yeah, I'll send that as a link as well, just to make things a bit easier. All right. Well, yeah, let's open up the mics for questions, guys, because I'm sure you may have some questions. So I'm just gonna get you guys all to unmute if you got a question or there's something you want to say about this whole thing. I mean, it's probably the best time to discuss this now. So who do we have?
You're probably going to get a bit of feedback noise with me, that's all, because I've got this blasted ducted aircon going on.
That's all right.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Nathan.
a bit annoying. So
That's all right.
That's all right.
No, I was just going to add that yeah, obviously the value in strategic partnerships is, it's the value of your network, isn't it? And then over time you build trust with somebody, and you kind of you don't even think about it. Like people do it all the time. Oh, who can you recommend? Well, you build trust with that person, and you're quite happy to pass on their details to somebody because that they're going to deliver on their promises. So yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you, Daniel, and see if we can work together. Obviously, there's a lot of security conscious customers out there at the moment with the bad press in the media and the state of society in general with people doing the wrong thing. So yeah, I think there's some good synergy there that we could work together and package up some security stuff, because everyone's so aware of that now. No one leaves their front door open anymore. I know that. So and if you can catch somebody on a camera, I think you can't beat that either, can you? So yeah, I'll definitely be reaching out, Daniel, and yeah, we'll go from there, mate.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. I think
Cool.
I think it's 100% the most important thing in this is trust, right? Because you're putting your name forward to customers for a service that someone else is giving. You've got to feel like you get it. You're going to get exactly what you would expect on your house, or if you were doing the service for the customer. So and then it becomes, like you said, it almost becomes like an instant reaction when someone says, "Oh, do you need this?" And you go, "Yep, I've got a contact," because you don't have to stress about it. So that's the goal for any partnership, I think.
Cool. We have another question. Joel just sent one through using chat. Just curious about around training and learning more about your products and what that looks like. So Daniel, can you tell us about, I guess, the training around Securelux and your products?
Yeah, so more than happy to do some training on the product and I guess our process to getting security installed on homes. So probably just depends on, I guess, the exact arrangement that's of interest. But if it's are you a locksmith, Joel? Did I see that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's, say you've got a showroom or a bit of a display, there's nothing to say we can't put a display in there and sort of gear you up to be able to sell some doors and windows, and either go to your customers or have us sort of take over at that point. We can sort of train on all aspects. of that. We've done that with a few like timber door companies. We do the supply and install for them. They sell it at in their showrooms as part of their conversation around the timber doors. So it's a nice sort of, would you like fries with that conversation?
Cool. Well, I think, yeah, it's all obviously got to be very individual with each business. So I think it's worth a while for you to guys connect and discuss that further. There are many different ways to obviously approach this, but I would imagine a lot of locksmiths would naturally get questions about, hey, what else can we do to secure this? And if someone's had a break-in, or someone tried to break their lock or something, yeah, I mean, people would naturally be asking about CrimSafe for at least their front door, for sure.
And we'd be keen on the training coming back our way for our consultants, because we quite often get, like I said, those key alike or special lock requests that, we can't service ourselves. So
yeah, absolutely. Do we have any other questions? Got a couple of guys on, but I assume a couple of you probably are driving while you're listening to this. Well, I guess one thing I wanted to add is, the whole strategic alliances concept. I'm very big on that. I actually run a lot of events whenever I can, and obviously COVID has been quite a disruption for that. But actually, this Friday, I am running an event which I call Lunch and Learn. And I've got probably about a dozen people registered already. Yeah, it's just about really forming a network and talking to people. So I think connecting with the right people and then forming relationships really allows play that long game, as opposed to just sort of capitalize on short-term opportunities. I've been doing networking for a number of years. I've done a number of different networking groups, but in the end, I found that, it's good to sort of do something of your own, where potentially there is no memberships and none of that sort of rubbish, but really just genuine ways to contact with people and basically just grow your business through natural, organic, strategic alliances. So guys, if you're interested, I'll shoot you a link to that as well, but that's this Friday, and actually Daniel's going to be coming to that as well. So it's a good way to sort of meet up with him as well. It's over at the Lon Stanley Hotel from 12 till 1:30. So if you're interested, but should be a good one as well. My goal is to really cover more of the marketing trends side of things around what's happening this year, and obviously the economy is changing, and some people are very interested as to what to do, and also things like ChatGPT and so on. And this may be over your head, but I reckon it's a big one to address if you don't know anything about it. Do we have any other questions, or Daniel, is there anything else that you want to add to this presentation?
Thanks everyone for jumping on. Hopefully you got some value from the conversation anyway. So, I think it's important as business owners to be constantly thinking about your strategies. And I guess this is just one that we've put forward from conversations that Alexei and I have had over the last 12 months with, I guess, how we see the market moving, and a massive opportunity in this space for, I know for ourselves in security screen space, no one's doing this sort of thing. So hopefully it's the same in your industries as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, business is all about challenges, right? And I guess it's a lot easier to face challenges when you work together, especially with people that are working with the same target market. At least you're able to sort of back yourself up with some, I guess, changes in the market or some ideas as to how things may be. And what I always find fascinating is that there are bunch of different solutions that businesses are able to pick up on and learn from one another, like, hey, payment plans, hey, people do this, taking payments on the way on the day, and so on. And look, it really depends whether your business is transactional or you're selling a high ticket item, but there are so many solutions that you may potentially be interested in applying to your business to make your processes smoother and easier for the customers as well. Great. Well, look, guys, if you're listening to this, if you want to shoot us an email, the email's on the screen. Like I said, I will send the presentation slides to those who can't make it. Even better, I'll send the webinar recording as well. And then, if you want to go from there, please reach out to Daniel or myself if you have any questions. But thanks very much for joining in, and hope you guys have a great day.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.